Welcome to the second of our tutorials on using NotebookLM as your research assistant. In this video, we're going to look a little bit more at the various tools you can use to analyze documents that you have uploaded to NotebookLM, as well as how to convert them into materials that will help you with your research. We're going to concentrate in particular on the different types of reports that NotebookLM can produce, as well as the mind map function. You'll see on the lower right that I've generated a series of reports already. This is primarily because it takes a few minutes to generate a report, and if I click on the link to create a briefing doc, then click to accept that, you'll see that it will start to generate a document based on the 9 sources that I've uploaded to this notebook. It takes about a minute or so to generate the report, and when you select this, you'll see that it loads as a text document that displays on the right-hand side of the screen. Of the various types of report NotebookLM can produce, a briefing document effectively gives a summary of all the elements that are contained in the different documents that you've loaded into your sources. As we mentioned in the previous video, these can include PDFs, text files, videos, and also YouTube links and audio files. A briefing document reads through all those sources and summarizes them to provide the main themes that appear in those various documents. You can also, as with any type of work in NotebookLM, deselect and reselect just a few of your sources if you want to focus on a particular text. A study guide looks through the various sources and creates a series of questions as well as suggested answers. The aim of this is to test your knowledge of the various documents, and NotebookLM can be particularly useful in this regard, drawing attention to what it considers to be the key elements. It's also particularly useful for anybody working in education by making suggestions for essay titles based on your sources, as well as producing a glossary of key terms, which I find invaluable for picking out key elements and presenting them in an extremely accessible format. An FAQ, or frequently asked questions, deals with some of the most important themes that appear in any of your sources, transforming those into a series of questions which are then provided with summary answers drawn together from your selected sources. Again, this can be a particularly helpful way of summarizing the information that's contained in those documents and draws attention to areas that you should pay attention on in your own research. Another use of FAQs is that they can also in turn provide suggested questions for you to bring through into the chat box to interrogate different documents. Finally, with regard to text reports, NotebookLM has a particularly handy feature for creating a timeline. While this is presented in a fairly basic format as literally a list of events, we'll look in a future video at ways that you can transform this into something graphically more stimulating. Despite this limitation, it's still incredibly useful at drawing attention to dates that may be mentioned in the sources that you upload, showing how a particular topic has developed over periods of time. Finally, with regard to the pre-generated documents that we'll look at in this video, NotebookLM can also generate mind maps. As with all the other reports, this concentrates on one or all of the sources that you upload, and here's one that I generated earlier from all the 9 uploaded sources. When you click on the mind map, the first thing to draw attention to is that this is a fully interactive document which can navigate between different nodes of the mind map, allowing you to drill down into particular areas. When you go through each of these, you'll see that the mind map navigates backwards and forwards, bringing different areas into focus and then allowing you to further drill down into very specific topics. When you find something that you want to investigate further, click on it. NotebookLM then goes through your sources and looks for the relevant information that relates to that particular node. This is then copied into the chat as a question to one or more of your sources, producing further responses which can also then highlight the original sources for information. I find mind maps an incredibly useful way of engaging with the content that's included in NotebookLM. They really allow you to explore in much greater detail than simply reading through a series of documents, enabling you to identify particular topics that will be of interest to you. NotebookLM allows you to download a mind map as an image file. This is less useful than the interactive mind map, but can be helpful if you need to share your documents with other people or include a visual of the map in another document. The slight frustration that I find when working with NotebookLM is that any reports you create cannot be exported, for example, to use as Word docs or PDF. You can, of course, cut, copy, and paste the information, and this is something that I frequently do. Something else that you can do is convert your reports into another source. One of the frustrations for novice users of NotebookLM comes when they reopen a session of the app and find that their previous reports and queries have not been saved. If you find something that's particularly useful, you will need to convert it to a source, and then, as you can see on the left-hand side, it will be added to your list of sources, allowing you to engage with it in future sessions.